I'm here at Picnic and I'm joined by Aza Raskin, who's the creative lead in Firefox. Aza, you're going to talk later on about redesigning people's memories. It's a curious topic.
So this is a little bit unusual for me. I spend most of my time thinking about the future of the web and how to make it amazing and awesome, and how to make sure that the things you want to share are the things that get shared, and no more, and to nobody that you don't want it to be shared with. But one of the things I do is I use cognitive psychology as we design, right? So that we make Firefox as particular to the way you work as possible, so it doesn't sort of confuse you. And one of the things that you learn in cognitive psychology is how memories are formed and where their fallibilities are. So we use this and we harness this in spatial memory, say in Firefox 4 with Firefox Panorama, because you zoom in and out, and you get to see all of your tabs and they're sort of in this space, and that's great. But our memory also has some fallibilities, and you can use those in good ways and in bad ways. And so one of the things I'm here talking about is one of the bad ways that can be used. And I'm looking at product placement, and I'm saying now that we are creating with Flickr and Twitter and Facebook and all of these social venues, we're documenting our lives. These are sort of e-autobiographies, if you will. And our friends use those sort of self-created documentaries as their source of truth about us, right? They get this sort of pointillism style picture of who we are. So here's the question. If we give up access to that data in ways we don't quite understand, what happens? So say a company says, hey, I want to make you look a little bit better in all of your pictures. We're going to do it for free. We'll get rid of blemishes. We're going to remove zits. We're going to make you look a little bit thinner, maybe add a hot guy or girl to the picture, whatever. And in exchange, all we want is to put a couple product placements into your pictures. Do you mind? And you're going to be like, of course, that sounds great. I look better. And all my friends think I look better. But here's the scary thing. We know that memory is reconstructed. Every time you think of something, you remember just the little details and your brain refills it in. Right? So you don't actually know what's right and what's wrong. And it turns out that there's this study where people tried to take people and inject a memory into their brain. They wanted to see, can we have people remember getting lost as a child in a supermarket? And it turns out, and so they did this in a nice way, and it turns out that they could get generally 25% of people to have this new memory. This is inception, right? And we know that all the ways that people create false memories are the ways that are going to happen if you modify people's old pictures. So people look back and remember, I guess I was drinking Budweiser, or I guess I was wearing an Abercrombie shirt, or I guess there was a Samsung camera that I was using. And it changes our perception towards brands. So we know that past actions are the best predictors of future actions. That's why data about you is so valuable to marketers, because they haven't been able to change your past actions, so all they can do is try to inject themselves into paths that you probably will take. But now, and this is the thing that scares me, marketers in the next couple of years are going to realize they can change your memories of your past actions, and therefore change your future actions. And that scares me.
It's a bit like on social media where people they meet somebody in a passing in a passing at a conference or something like that, and they become good friends. Or we've seen it on television in Mad Men where they have the Hilton Hotel. They have a whole load of storylines that are paid for but that are part of the narrative. Is it something, or like celebrities who construct their identity and invent their past? It's a bit like that, but a bit more sinister.
Absolutely. So people are now creating identities, putting their identities online. And what worries me is that because we don't really understand the ramifications of how we put our data online, that there are going to be these ways for companies to change our identities, and in ways that we don't understand. Because they change our memories, and when we go look at these pictures, and when our friends look at them, they get a different version of who we are. And it's going to be subtle, and it's going to be a quick change. And so it's a little bit sinister. One of the other projects I work on at Firefox is something called privacy icons. And this is, do you know Creative Commons? So this is like Creative Commons for privacy, so that you understand how your data is being used when you sign up for websites. It's a couple simple icons that say your data might be used for purposes that you do not intend, right? And that's a bad thing. And so I think of this as sort of an offshoot of that idea, where you're trying to figure out how people understand how they're sharing their data, And this is one of the ways people share the data and they don't understand its ramifications. So we need to start figuring out either how to modify it, how to stop it, how to protect it, or how to change our interactions with the web to make it a little more understandable. And so that's what Firefox is looking at now.
Privacy is going to be a huge issue in the next 10 years with the growth of Facebook and other social media networks. Do you feel that people are jumping into it without thinking about the ramifications and sharing too much?
So the last thing I want to do is to try to get people to slow down, right? I'm not one of those people that are like, the web is scary, don't do it. No, the web is awesome. It's the most important innovation of our times. That said, we need to be really careful. And we try to think less about privacy and more about how people share, because that's a little bit closer. People don't care about privacy until it bites them, right? In some ways, I think that the best thing we could do would be create an info apocalypse, and then everybody would really care and we could bring the conversation forward. But clearly we're not going to do that.
At Mediacontact.ie, we're huge fans of Firefox. We always encourage our customers to use it. Has it become a bigger phenomenon than you ever thought it could be?
Well, so we set out 5 years ago to make the web an innovative place, to sort of rekindle that set of innovations. At that time, IE was 98% of the market. Everyone thought it was a ridiculous idea to try to cater back. Microsoft had just won this huge browser war. And then Microsoft took most of the people that were working on IE and moved them to other projects or got rid of them, right? Fast forward 5 years, and this group of ragtag people that started together in this open source way, working in a distributed fashion across the web, managed to win, right? Like, that's an amazing thing. We're at 30-35% market share. And the ecosystem is getting faster and faster and faster. And now it's a huge, every major company, tech company, is now in the browser space. So this is a great place to be. So this was our hope, and we got there, and now we get to live in that world, which is fantastic.
Final question is obviously it's a great product and it works very well, but is the wholesome nature of it being open source a huge plus point to the brand?
Absolutely. So the web is open. It's of the people, by the people, for the people, right? And we fight. We're a not-for-profit company, and we fight to keep the web open. And the fact that we can have people involved from all walks of life, people from small countries far out in the middle of nowhere, participating in this thing is fantastic. There's nothing more energizing than knowing that any one person, anywhere in the world, no matter what they're doing right now, can come and participate either in the design or in coding or in marketing and change 500 million people's lives. Nowhere else can you get that.
Thank you very much.